All right, so now let's review the questions I gave you today. And I'm doing this so I can show you some of the strategies that can be used during the STAAR test to help you out to make the right choices. Because what I find is usually it's not that the students don't know the subject matter and it's not that they don't have the knowledge necessary to answer the question. It's the test taking strategies. These strategies can help you with probably just about any type of test. But let's go ahead and start. I'm not gonna preach on anything. Of course, we know we're doing a practice science test. These are from old STAAR tests. So let's go ahead and look at this. Okay, so it tells you to read each question carefully, right? So that's the first key, is reading each question carefully. So let me go ahead and make this question just a little smaller. All right, that's a little bit too small. Make it just a little bit bigger. So you can see just about the whole question. There we go. That's pretty good right there, right? We can see that. So, many people ride a bicycle for fun or exercise. Some people ride a bicycle to work because it saves money and benefits the environment by reducing the use of fossil fuels. Okay. That's some good facts. Let's see what the question is then. Which of these is not an example of a bicycle using mechanical energy? So now I know that everything that was said up here has nothing to do with the question. So I don't need any of that. All right? So mechanical energy. That's the key right there. Mechanical energy. So what is mechanical energy? That's my next question. Well, remember, mechanical energy is energy of movement, moving parts. So what's moving parts on this? So let's look at the answer choices. The pedals. Do the pedals move? Yeah, when we move them, it does. Gears, yep, they move. The chain moves. To turn, which is a movement. Then the wheels move. The wheels turn, that's true, when the bicycle moves. Okay, so which is not, oh yeah. Okay, so the front wheels, they move. Right, guys, bicycle as it moves, true. The reflector, it's a part, but does that move? No. Allows the bicycle to be seen at night. So this is mechanical energy, right? That's mechanical energy. That's mechanical energy. And this one is talking about what type of energy? Light. So the correct answer for this one, because it's not, is D. So we selected D. You were right. But you see the thought process that goes into a question. It's a lot more than reading the question, just bam, selecting the answer. All right? To be sure about the question that you're answering, the answer that you're selecting, is answering the question that's being asked. That's why I say that way all year long. But I guess I never really totally went through it step by step like this, maybe once. But now we're going to hit it hard because now it counts. All right? Let's go on to the next one. So, a teacher gives a student 4 clear sealed containers. Each container holds a different substance. The student records some observations about the substance in each container. So this is where it did that. So that just is telling you what this is, right? So based on these observations, which container most likely holds only gas? Only gas. No knots, no doesn't, nothing like that. So we know we're talking about a gas. So therefore we need to know what a gas is. A gas, if you remember the definition of a gas, and this is what we have to know, that's what it's testing. If you know the definition of the gas, it has no definite shape, right? It's not easy writing with this. And no definite volume, right? Therefore, we know what it is. All right, so I can't write with a mouse very well. I need to have a pencil to do this. Okay, so container 1 holds the substance, takes up the shape of the container, and is clear. Small particles float on top. Well, we don't see small particles floating around in the air, so I don't think that's it. All right. The substance is hard and cube-shaped. Nope, it doesn't have a shape. The substance is not visible. Okay. And the container appears empty. That looks like a possibility. All right. The substance is cold and made of you know that's not right. So that leaves it with one answer. This one, right? So we're going to say it's container 3, which is H. Is that the correct answer? Let me look at my answer sheet. Yes, that is the correct answer. See the thought processes. Let's go to the next one. A farmer keeps bees to pollinate crops. We know bees do that. The farmer makes several observations about the bees. Here's his observations. Bees make return trips to drink sugar water from a bowl placed 40 meters from their hive. Okay, they need sugar. That's what they get nectar for. Bees have dark eyes and black and yellow stripes. True. Bees produce honey from the nectar they collect. And bees will sting when threatened or disturbed. Yep, we know that. Which of these observations described a learned behavior? So, before we go anything, let's go back at this. Bees make return trips to drink the sugar water from the bowl placed 40 meters. Okay, so we know they weren't born knowing that the sugar water is there, so they had to learn that. So that one's a learned behavior. Bees have dark eyes. Nope, that's a physical trait or inherited trait, right? Bees produce honey from the nectar they collect. No, that's an inherited trait as well. They already know to do that. And bees will sting when that's an instinct, which is an inherited behavior or trait. So there's only one that makes sense, that it's a learned behavior, which would be that one. That's not a great circle, is it? But bees make return trips, so we say A would be the learned behavior, and A is the correct answer. Let's go to the next one. Ooh, circuits. We like circuits. A group of students built the circuit shown below. Okay. The light bulb does not glow. So we know it's not working. So we just put an X there saying it's not working. Okay. So which statement explains this observation? Well, let's see. Why wouldn't a light work? Well, first, for a circuit to work, we need a complete circuit, right? So is this a complete circuit? I don't think so, because there's no wire running from the light to complete the circuit. So this is missing, right? So that's probably why it's not going to work. So the battery's not charged. Well, the battery's probably charged. There's nothing saying the battery's not charged. I don't think that's right. The light bulb is not part of a complete circuit. Well, we said that. So that's a possibility. And the circuit does not have a switch. Circuits don't have to have a switch. The bell uses most... No, we know that. Bell doesn't use that much energy. We've built circuits that way before. So the correct answer has to be G then, right? Let's see. Look at the answer sheet again. G is the correct answer. All right, moving down to the next one. The whiskers of a river otter and the antennae of a cockroach are shown below. Yucky, yuck, yuck. Cockroaches are nasty looking kind of. All right, how do structures such as whiskers and antennae benefit the organism? So whiskers and antennae, what do they have in common? What are they used for? What do you use your arms for? Because that's something that sticks out from your body, right? If it's completely dark. Think about that. I know when I used to play hide and go seek in the dark or tag in the dark in my basement, when I was a kid, it's completely dark. We used our arms to feel around and make sure we didn't run into something, right? Because that hurt if you ran into something, especially our basement had these poles, and sometimes that's how I found people. Sometimes I would hear my cousins or somebody, bing, run into one of those poles, and I would giggle and I'd go get them. All right, so we use our arms to do that because we don't just want to run around with our arms down to our side and just run into something. So they help the organism detect their surroundings. That's probably a possibility. They help the organism eat food quickly. No, the whiskers and antennae. Can you imagine your dog or cat eating with their whiskers? Ha! That'd be kind of funny looking. Kind of weird too. They help the organism fight predators. No, they're not going to help you. You ever seen your dog's whiskers take you out? No. None of these. No, because we already said that one is a possibility. So it's got it. That's the only one that works. So I would say it's A. Let me look at the answers. Yes, A is right. The antennae and the whiskers on different animals or organisms, I should say, help them find things and detect things around them. So if they can't see, it's there. Or they're not looking that way. Okay, move on down. What is this one? Oh. Okay. All right, I remember this one a long time ago. Okay, so a student looks into a mirror and sees an image of an object. Which diagram shows the X? Which the object is most likely located? Where the object is most likely located? Okay, so we know if we look into a mirror, what it's doing. We're talking about light. Light, right? So we're talking about light, energy. And if it shows an object, a mirror causes light to bounce, which is reflection, right? So, reflection, we said light only travels in what kind of line? Well, let's see. If we go this way, then it bounces off in an equal but opposite direction. That's pretty good. If it goes this way, to get to the X, we'll have to go through the mirror. Nope, that can't happen. Okay. Student standing this way, looking that way. Boom. Nope. Nope. So it's got to be this one, right? That is correct. Ding. Go to the next one. An energy company wants to build a hydroelectric power plant. Which of these characteristics of an area is most important to develop a hydroelectric power plant? And you don't really get this too much anymore because this is talking about alternative energy for a way. But we did talk about how, remember, hydroelectric plant is a plant that uses water, which is what hydro means. Hydro means water, right? And we know what electric is. That means electrical energy. So it's electrical energy made from water. And the only way to do that is to have just like remember you see, not windmills, but you see those old things that had those like paddle things that ran like this and always ran a river down here, right? And to turn those paddles returns to a generator to create electricity before. Well, now they have the same sort of thing, but it runs by a river and it runs down a deep thing and at a dam, right? And it runs down here, and the water flows out through here. Most of it goes down through here and causes a generator to turn, which creates electricity. Okay? So, the area has to be cool and rainy climate. No, that has no difference. It could be a sunny area. As long as there's a river that flows pretty fast. The area is located in a valley with very little wind and frequent heavy fog. Wind and fog has nothing to do with it and the wind would have something to do with it if we was talking about a windmill, but we're not. The area has a river, which is good. Yep, that's good. That flows rapidly, awesome, from a nearby mountain through a valley. That's possible. The area has no geysers. Geysers is like pressure underground that shoots up. or hot springs? Nope. Has nothing to do with it. So that was not it. So our last choice remaining. Boom. C. Correct answer. See, if you go through this step by step, you will always get the correct answer. But let me tell you. Some students investigate the properties of 4 objects using a hand lens, a magnet, and a beaker containing water. Their observations recorded in the table below. So we look down here. Which statement identifies the property that could be used to classify these objects into 2 different groups? So we need to classify these objects into 2 different groups. Let's just look at it. What can we classify? Light brown is a color, right? Color, color, color. But can we classify in 2 different groups? No, it would have to be 3 because you got brown is one group, blue is one group, black is one group. So that's not 2. That doesn't meet that. So that's not it. All right. Now, next thing it talks about has small holes. It's shiny. Not attracted by magnet. Not attracted by magnet. No other thing says anything about magnet, so we have to get rid of that. Right. Shiny. Small holes. Has nothing to do with anything. Doesn't relate to anything. Next one says float. Sink. Float. Sink. 2 different groups. Float and sink, which was talking about what? Relative density. Let's see which one says something about it. Density can be, that's good. Density can be used to separate these objects that sink in water from objects that do not. That's a possibility. Magnetism, we already said we couldn't do that. Solubility says nothing about dissolving anywhere, does it? No. Physical state, which is solid, liquid, gas. None of them talk about that. Could we separate solid and gas? No, because they're all solids too. So the only thing it could be is this one, F. And F is your correct answer. Ooh, this one might be hard. A lot of pictures to look at. Now this one takes a little more thinking if I remember correctly. Okay, an African savanna is a grassland. Grassland with shrubs and few trees. Okay. It has warm temperatures all year long. Dry winter seasons, rainy summers. Which group of animals is most likely supported by the African savanna? Let's start with A. Can a frog make it? Not when it's really, really dry. It'd be hard for a frog, right? Can a monkey? Monkey needs trees. Savannah doesn't have a lot of trees. This needs kind of warm, moist trees. Penguin, no, you know that needs cold. That ain't gonna happen in Savannah. All right, so the lizard can probably sort of make it. All right, snakes. See, that's a dry area it's in, but it can possibly make it. That needs water. A rabbit in some grasslands, yes. Okay, that eats grass, so we know it loves the grass. The rabbit, we know it likes grass. This is a type of bird, probably needs water, I believe. So I don't think that'll make it. Polar bear, no. Ain't gonna make it in grassland. All right, so this, you see, it's already in grassland. It needs grass. Rhinos, we know, live in the savannah. We've seen that before. Antelope, we've seen that even on Lion King. Oh, we know the big cats love the savannah. I would say it's D. Because you know the polar bears is a definite no, right? We know that's a definite no. And we know this penguin is a definite no. See, those are no questions. So these, I would say to be the best bet. Oh, man, I was right. See? Told you, if you just think about each thing, it's not even really taking us that long. It's taking us a little while. Because so far, I don't know how long we've been, but it's taking us a little while. But we're still moving along. We're doing pretty good. So far, we got 100%. And we only got 3 more questions to go. All right. Some characteristics of objects in a solar system are listed below. Which of these, of the listed characteristics, describe both Earth and the Moon? Okay, we don't even have to look at this really. Let's look down here. Both the Earth and the Moon. The core temperature is 15 million degrees Celsius. Oh, we know that ain't the Earth. That's got to be the sun. It's no way we're that hot. All right, so that's a definite no. Big X. Meteor craters can be found on the surface. Yep, we know that happens to Earth and Moon. The source of light is the sun. Yep, we know that for both. Rocks and dust can be found on the surface. Yep, we know that can be both, right? Let's keep going. The core, we already said that's wrong, so we know that ain't it. Meteors can be found on the surface. Yep, the surface. Yep. Water covers most of the surface. There's no water on the moon. So it's got to be G. Let me check my answers. Yes, G is the right answer. No, that'd be awesome if you had the answer sheet right there with you too. Check it as soon as you're done with it. But see, the same process. We went through the whole process and marked our answer. And, so far we've been right. It's not because I'm doing it. It's because we're just going through it together step by step. The table below lists ways that 4 organisms obtain energy. All right? Which organism obtains energy without depending on another organism? So the oak tree produces food through photosynthesis. Does it need another organism? No, but it only needs the sun. That's not really an organism. That's a celestial thing. Okay? It says another organism, right? So mushrooms absorb nutrients from decomposing plants. And plant is an organism. And animals are organisms. So it said without. So that's a no. Cottontail rabbits eats grass. That's an organism. Twigs come from an organism. Bark comes from an organism. So we know it's not that. Mountain lion eats prey on deer, wild hogs, and rodents, all organisms. So it can't be that. So the correct answer has to be oak tree, which is, I already know, the correct answer. All right? Because it is a producer. And finally, our last question for today. Last question for today says, a student observed liquid wax dripping down the side of a burning candle. After putting out the candle's flame, the student left the room. Several hours later, the student observed that there were no longer any liquid on the side of the candle. Which statement explains what most likely happened to the candle wax or the liquid wax? The heat given off by the flames caused the candle wax to evaporate. No. We know candle wax doesn't evaporate. The liquid wax changed back into a solid as it cooled. Okay, that's a possibility because we know sometimes liquids changes back to solids as they cool. And just like iced water does, liquid water turns back to a solid when it's cold enough. Okay? The liquid wax condensed. That means it changed from a gas to a liquid and was absorbed by the candle. No, doesn't happen. And none of the above. So I say the correct answer would be G, which means it changed the state from a liquid to a solid. And so the correct answer is G. There we go. So see if we use those concepts right there, we will get 100 on this test. Any test. You can use that on any test you use, including reading, math, all those things when you have multiple choice tests. So use these strategies, these tactics, whatever you want to call it. That way you justify your answer. And if you can then explain it down here, explain, blah, 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 this is why, then you know you're right. Using the stuff that you've learned. Okay, so we're going to do this all over again with some different questions tomorrow. And then that's another practice. Then after that, we'll have a little test after in, not really for grade, but see you continue to apply these tactics and see how you do. All right, so I'll see you next time for science. Thanks for having me.